like you to hit the like button at the beginning, because every time you hit the like button, you are letting YouTube know that what you are seeing and hearing is edifying for you, so it can be shared with others. That's why hitting the like button is so important. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing to the channel.
It had to happen. Your title was so powerful. When I read the name of your ministry, it had to happen.
Let's welcome our host, Erica Wilson.
Great day, everyone. We're here live today with the girl, Erica Wilson, that it had to happen for our Monday Night Madness. And tonight our topic is understanding autism, awareness, and acceptance. All right, listen, understanding and accepting autism is crucial for improving the lives of those affected by it. Deshaunna and Tawana both are mothers of kids with autism. As parents or caregivers to a child on the spectrum, it's essential to learn about their unique needs and characteristics. This includes understanding their communication styles, sensory processing differences, mental health needs, emotional resilience, and social interaction skills. By doing so, we can create an environment of acceptance and inclusion for our loved ones with autism in our daily lives. So, guys, are you ready to kick off this exciting journey with us here at It Had to Happen for Mothers of Motivated Sons? All right, let's go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and share button now. And now I'm going to bring on my sissy, Sandra Perryman. Welcome, sissy.
Welcome. Good evening, everyone.
Oh my God, we are back here on this Monday for an awesome topic, as we know that this is Autism Awareness Month. So I'm going to turn it on over to you, sissy.
Good evening again, everyone. On tonight, we have two amazing guests that's going to be on the show with us tonight. Our first guest is Miss Tawana Randall. She's a native of Miami, Florida, a mother of two, and an entrepreneur. Finding out she conceived at the age of 33 after being told she would not have any more children, Keon was born prematurely at 22 weeks, weighing 1.4 pounds. He spent 6 months in the hospital and was diagnosed with cerebral palsy and autism, and was told he would not walk or talk. Without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to Miss Tawana Randall.
Welcome.
Hey.
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing today?
Good. All right, sissy.
Our second guest is Miss Deshaunna Upshaw, who is also a native of Miami, Florida. She's the mother of two boys and the creator of Dining with Deshaunna. She had a 20-year career in government, working in all four entities. In 2015, she walked away from her career to become a full-time care provider to her high-functioning, nonverbal autistic son. Judah was born at 23 weeks, weighing 1 pound and 3 ounces. He is now 9 years old and adjusting to everyday life. Let's welcome Deshaunna to the show.
Welcome. Oh my God. Welcome, 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 ladies. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce my nephew, the brand ambassador, the Denzel High Hidden Perryman. Welcome, 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 nephew.
Hey, everybody,
Hey.
how y'all doing?
Okay.
All right, all right, all right. Listen, tonight's our topic is understanding autism, awareness and acceptance. So, Tawana, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is you're representing on tonight? Who are you representing on tonight?
So I'm Tawana Randall. I was born and raised in Miami, Florida, Dade County. I had a 16-year-old when I found out that I was pregnant with Keon. Probably a year before I found out I was pregnant with Keon, I had a procedure done on my cervix. I was told I wasn't going to have any more kids, and I was cool with that. I was like, I was here and there and not thinking about becoming a mother all over again. And then, the Lord saw otherwise and found out I was pregnant with Keon, and literally 23 weeks later, he was born.
Oh my God. So
23 weeks later, I'm sorry, at 22 weeks, I was 22 weeks, he was born. So yeah, he was early. He came November 4th. He was due February 19th.
wow, wow, wow. What was that like seeing something so tiny coming out of you? Because I had a premature baby too. Mine was 112. So what was that like seeing, like, were you afraid to touch him? Like, what was that like?
Initially afraid to give birth. When I came in and they said you're in labor, and I was like, there's no way I could be in labor. I just thought I was going through some pains, and my cousin was like, we need to go to the hospital. So I just figured they was gonna check me out and send me home, and then they were like, you're in labor. They tried to give me some steroids to kind of like induce the labor, to try to hold him in as long as possible. But he was coming. He was a total opposite from my firstborn. My firstborn was 10 pounds, 3 ounces. so this literally like out, and it was over and done. I didn't hear any crying, any movement or anything like that. So it was scary. And then eventually after he was out and they were working on it and everything, we heard the crying. Didn't actually get to see him to probably like a day or so afterwards. And then from there it was the stimulation, explaining to me what was going on with the tubes, and explaining to me about stimulation and how important touch was. But it probably took me a few days because I was scared to touch him. He was almost see-through. But he was very tiny and very hairy. He was very hairy, very tiny. He had hair like all over. You couldn't tell the difference between his hairline and his eyebrows. So yeah, from there it was definitely a learning, something I was learning something every single day. And I thank God at the time my mother's an RN, so that definitely helped. But yeah, that began my journey.
Whew. Well, Deshaunna, you heard everything that Tawana was saying, and I see you over here. We both doing this because we know all too well what that's like. So you walk us through your journey, Deshaunna.
Actually, I was moving back to Florida. I was in Washington. I had come to Florida, hung out with my aunt, and I didn't know I was pregnant. And literally came back to Washington, and I was working for the government at the time. And I told them, I was like, I told my boss, I said, I don't feel good. And he was like, okay, well, go ahead and go to the doctor's, ER, whatever. I go to the ER and they're like, well, congratulations. And I'm like, oh, what? I have the flu? What's going on? Because my son was 18. So in no way in my mind, I'm thinking another kid's coming. No. And they were like, no, you're pregnant. And I was like, no, I'm not. And I was in denial, but I didn't even have time to be in denial because I was already 3 months. And then
wow. I took 5 pregnancies.
Yeah.
5?
So they did a
yes, because she had to be lying.
They the doctor was like, okay, I need you to see a doctor. I went and saw that doctor. She was like, we got to do emergency surgery. There's another one in there. He's not alive. So there was twins, and then one passed, but he was taking the nutrients from my son. So they did a C-section on me, removed that one, and then they put me on bed rest. And then when I was 22 weeks, they were like, you're going to have a very hard pregnancy. We don't think this last one is going to live. So in my mind, I was preparing myself that I wasn't going to have this child. And I was watching Dr. Jamal Bryant while he was in Maryland, and he was just talking about Judah. Praise your way through Judah. And I was just like, okay, I'm just going to praise my way. I'm not going to be upset. It's going to be okay. Everything's going to work out the way it's supposed to work out. And Father's Day, I was 23 and a half weeks. And I went in at 12 o'clock, and at 5:23, they asked me to do one push. And I was like, okay. I did one push, and they said, okay, he's going to come out, but he's going to take one breath and then he's going to pass away. And I said, okay, well, I don't want to see that. And
wait, hold on.
They literally my whole pregnancy, after they removed the first one, they had already told me, okay, get ready, because this child is not going to live.
Mm-hmm. It's only the same.
My water had broke everything. I went through like full term labor pains, all of that. They had to give me an epidural, and my first child, I didn't even have an epidural. So I didn't know what I was experiencing. I was just like, okay, whatever you guys say, you guys are the experts. And I was at peace now, knowing that my child was not going to live. And afterwards, he took one breath, he turned his head, looked at the doctors. The nurse went to screaming, and they rushed him to the NICU and forgot about me. And my sister came in and was like, where's the baby? And I said, they took him. And she was like, well, why are you still here? Nobody cleaned you up. Nobody did this. Nobody did that. And I said, no. She goes, well, did they do the afterbirth? I said, no. My 16, almost 17-year-old sister decided she was going to just do the rest. And she did.
Oh my God.
And when the nurse came in, they said, we have some other things we need to do. My sister said, I've already done that. We need to get her to go see her baby. And that's what happened. And
Shanna, you said you had the C-section to remove one.
Yeah. So in one pregnancy, I had a C-section and I had a vaginal birth.
Wow. Have you ladies ever heard of that?
No.
You, Sissy, you heard of that, Sissy?
Yeah.
So you did it twice, girl.
I know, right? Because to know that they went in, how many months apart was the C-section from the birth?
It was, let's see, a month. It was a month apart.
Wait a minute. Anybody on here had a C-section?
Yeah,
you, Sissy?
It was horrible.
Yes. Okay. You had a C-section. I don't know what that's like, so I need you to speak on this one. You had a C-section, which Deshaunna had a C-section, and a month later, she had to push out a baby.
Yeah.
How long does it take for that healing process from that C-section?
I thought it was like some months or something.
I did too, but that's why
it varies. It varies depending upon the person.
Mm-hmm.
But I know, you can have a vaginal after you've had a C-section.
That close though?
I guess so, yeah. I don't know.
Well,
it happens, so.
Yeah.
No, but apparently so. So being Deshaunna, you had this C-section. I'm sure there were plenty precautionary measures you had to take.
Mm-hmm.
However, you're still sore in your stomach area.
Yeah.
So you only had one push. So that kind of made.
Yeah, because he was only 1 pound, 3 ounces. And so when the doctor realized he was going to live, he looked at me and he said, this was before they left. He said, I just want to let you know, we're going to write an extra 3 ounces because he seems like he wants to fight and live. And if they're under a certain, they couldn't put the tubes that they needed to put in him to live, they wouldn't have been able to do it if they would have just put he was 1 pound 3 ounces.
Right.
Oh my God.
So he put an extra 3 ounces on the birth certificate so that they could do all the extra things to him.
So he took a chance. That
Mhm.
was nobody but God.
Yeah.
That, ooh, see, you was listening. You need to tell Jamal Bryant he saved you. God used him speaking to you. Yes. Oh my God. Like, I didn't even know that. I thought, oh my God. See, y'all blowing me because listen, mine was 112. So I had you lucky you had one push. You talk about pushing and pushing and pushing, and nothing is coming out. And then all of a sudden you see this tiny little baby coming out of you. And I didn't make it to the hospital, ladies. I had him at home. So it was just, oh God. So let's jump on into this autism thing, because D, you just really blew me with that. Having a C-section and a vaginal birth a month apart. Listen, salute to you, Queen, because I was telling you, I don't know how.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
I'm gonna pass
scary.
it over to you now, sis. Oh my God. Woo. You're on mute.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
It's for both of you ladies, so either one can jump in. What does a day look like for you all?
Now or then?
Because I'm hoping it gets better.
Sis, I ain't gonna lie to you. No, but
wait, Mr. Tawana, how old is Keon?
Keon is 18 years old, and just keep in mind when he was born, they said he wasn't gonna live overnight. So once he was released from the hospital, which was about 6 months, he couldn't be released until he was at least over 5 pounds.
Right.
And then he had ROP in both eyes. Don't make me say the long words, reptia or something. But he had to have eye surgery. Then he had a hole in his heart, so he had surgery there. Then he had gastro issues. So it was a lot going on. And then finally being released from the hospital, still with tubes and oxygen. So we lugged around the oxygen tank for probably about another 5 months. So I'd probably say the first 6 months, it was just specialist after specialist. I had, they used to call me the organized queen because I had a binder just to keep up with the specialists, the GI doctor, the heart doctor, the cardiologist, the neurologist, just to keep up with everything and where I was going and medications and what time to give it to them and how to change the tubes. It was that first 6 months was just me playing RN and being grateful that my mom actually was one. And then fast forward to after his diagnosis at 1, they diagnosed him with cerebral palsy and said that he wouldn't walk and talk. Continued to see specialists until about 2.5, where they diagnosed him with Asperger's, and which is a form of autism on the spectrum. On the at that time he was on the lower end of the spectrum because he wasn't walking and he wasn't talking. Probably took his first step a little over 3.5 years old. And his first real words was probably a little bit after 4. So once we got the diagnosis from there, it was just, what do we do? Learning about it, because I didn't know. I was still kind of young and I had never dealt with anything like this. Unfortunately for Black folks, we don't like these labels. We just like ain't nothing wrong with that baby, because my grandmother kept telling me that for the longest. Ain't nothing wrong with that baby. Ain't nothing wrong with that baby. But continue to see a specialist, his occupational therapist, his speech therapist. It was, for the first couple of years, just doctors and therapists and, making sure you understood the diagnosis so you knew what to do. Mm-hmm. And then it went into, not only taking him to the therapist to learn certain stuff, but I had to do certain stuff at home. So, making him use his words, because I would just get so comfortable with just either letting him point or letting him So it was like, you have to make him use his words. You have to make him use his words. But for me, it was like, he don't like to use them. So I didn't want him to use them. So a few years after that, it was me going to therapy because I was like, I'm not doing it right. He's not talking. This is not working. Something's wrong. Something wrong with me. So I had to go to therapy myself, which I encourage all mothers to do with kids with autism, because it's not you. They're all different. They're all on a certain level of the spectrum. So you have to learn where they are on the spectrum so that you can understand how to help them when they're not with the therapist and doctors. Because he would do things with them, and then I would get home and ask him to do it, and he look at me like I'm stone crazy, and I'm like, you just did it. You literally was just there doing it. So fast forward to probably elementary school. I fought to keep him in a public school and fought to get him the services in a public school. I did not want him to go to a school specifically for autism kids because I didn't feel he needed that surrounding. I felt that he could still be around other kids and try to be just as normal as possible. So I fought for that in Henry County. Got him on the IEP and just really worked with him. And it was a struggle. I thank God for my village because, honey, it was a struggle.
Yeah.
It was definitely a struggle. It was up and down. Middle school was, I'd probably say middle school was our worst.
Oh, no, don't say that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Middle school was our worst. And that was like me learning me and me kind of learning him again because he wasn't a toddler. He was trying to do things on his own, but still being kind of rebellious on the other end. And then thank God we got to high school. Woo, child. High school was a bit of a challenge. He graduates in May. All I say is look at God, because like I said, they said he wouldn't walk or talk and he wouldn't live overnight. His doctors from Baptist Hospital still check on him to this day because they just can't believe that he's graduated. The doctor that actually delivered him is going to be at his graduation. So it's cool. I got resources for you. When I tell you, I have them. Because he has rights, you have rights, and there are things out there that you don't have to go for broke to get for him to make sure that.
And that's the hard part, because it's like everyone gatekeeps the resources, and then it's like, why are you gatekeeping? You know what this struggle is like. This is not easy. And some days you feel like you're about to lose all your hair and all your marbles.
Wow.
Yep. Not just some days, all days.
Yeah, I was trying to be nice about it, but yeah.
And the best thing that she said though is she went and got some therapy, right?
Yeah.
She said she had to go and get therapy. But Tawana, why would you say, like, because we know in middle school it's rough for in middle school we trying to find ourselves, right? That's everybody. We're trying to find ourselves. So I can say, Sissy, you're an educator, so you could attest to this. So would you say middle school, high school, or elementary? I think it's middle school is the hardest for everybody because guess what? And it's extra hard for you ladies because you know. But middle school, you're just trying to find yourself, and you just so rebellious in that middle school. You think so too, Sissy?
Yeah, I would say middle school. And I was going to ask too, how did the education look for him in the school system for both of you all?
For me, it was me making sure that I was his voice. I can tell you his IEP from back to end, and it's about 19 pages. I can tell you the HIPAA laws. I can tell you the laws for public schools. Because they will tell you one thing and then you find out totally different. So it was like, you have to provide these services for him. It states right here that you have to either hire someone or you have to provide the services on the outside. And then you have to bus him to these services if you're not going to have somebody at the school to provide them. So once I became his voice, it was more so like, okay, she know what she's talking about. So now we have to make sure we hire these people, these teachers, have the speech therapies at the school, or you're gonna have one come to my house. stated right here on 5.364 in that HIPAA law. When I say I know it, I know.
Look, she
He's right. She's absolutely right.
It states that you have to provide these services at the school, or you have to have someone come to my home and provide these services, and you have to pay for them as a public school. So there were times when they wanted him to go to another, oh, there's a school, he can go over here in Atlanta, across from the market center. And I'm like, nope, he's going to stay in public school. And these are the services that you all are going to provide for him. So you have to become his voice. Yeah. He, when he was able to become his own voice, it was more so in middle school, and it was hard because he was different. He wasn't like everybody else. People thought he was different. He didn't want to be different. He tried to, kind of like fit in as much as possible. But he was who he was. And he couldn't do other, certain things that everyone was doing. But the day he came home and said, I want to try out for football, I was like, no. No. In the ninth grade, in the eighth grade, 8th, 9th, and 10th grade, my son played football. And he wasn't good at all, but he played football. He got his fear out the way and said that he wanted to play football. And I was scared, like out of this world, but it's what he wanted to do. And then all through high school, he wrestled, which was another fear of mine. But it was like he's overcome so much, and so I had to learn to let him be, and also but still continue to be his voice with the adults. And any school that he's went to, some of his teachers now still have parents call me. I'm a parent advocate for autism at school. They still have parents call me because they don't know how to speak up for their kids. And you have no choice. You have to speak up for these kids, or they'll just tell you, oh, we just don't have the resources for that. Well, you're going to get them.
I know that's right. So Denzel, hearing her say her son played football and she was afraid for him to play. So by you being a ball player, if you had a teammate that was with you that maybe you knew of that had autism, how would you encourage him, nephew?
I'll just treat him like a normal teammate. Honestly, encourage him the same way I would, encourage anybody else. My mama told me not to say nothing, but my son have autism. So, and when I was, younger, when it was Take Your Child to Work Day, I used to go with my mom a lot, when she worked with autism kids. So, like, I've been around them, and, honestly, I probably had a better connection and friendship with them than I had, like, with my own friends. So, honestly, like I said, I'll just, talk to them like, regular teammates and encourage them, the same way.
Absolutely. And then Tawana, you also said too, like that was your fear. Like he didn't have that fear. Like, sometimes we as parents, we be like, oh my God. But hey, again, at least you allowed him to do that. So Deshaunna, hearing what Tawana, hearing what Tawana just said, what do you think about that? Like being Judah's voice, because at the end of the day, when you go in there and you know what you're talking about, then things will start shaking and moving.
Yeah. Well, being Judah's voice, I'm always Judah's voice. So I don't have a problem with that. Mm-hmm. That is just the problem that I have is the people that don't know and they want to have their 2 cents. And I'm like, first of all, you didn't walk this life with us. You're outsider looking in. Hold up. Back up. We got this. Let me tell you what he's needing. I wouldn't call it. I'm like Mama Bear when it comes to him. So it's like when I come up to the school, they already know. Oh, what do you need? Oh, hi, you're here. And I'm like, yes, ma'am. I like to do pop visits. So I like to show up when they don't expect me.
Yep.
So I'm one of those parents that I have to be a little more hands-on just because I don't know. And my son is nonverbal. Right. That's the scariest part to me because I don't know. Is he really?
Oh, she went out.
We're having some technical. Okay. Oh, there you go. Can't hear you. We can't hear you. No. Guys, please do bear with us. You were getting a phone call. No. Please do bear with us while we're waiting for Deshaunna to come back. So, Sissy, she was saying, Deshaunna left off saying that her son was nonverbal.
Yeah, and it is very important for parents who have kids with autism that are nonverbal to please, please, please be your voice for your child. Do the pop-up visits, and you have to make sure that the teachers and the schools are following the IEP to date.
To the T.
You have to make sure, because what most people don't know, that IEP is a legal document.
Yes, ma'am.
And the school district will be sued if they do not follow and comply with everything that's on that IEP.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, nephew.
I got a question, Mom. I want you to be honest. Do I have autism? Because you used to just pop up randomly at my school.
Oh God! He said
No, you were just bad.
He was just a comedian. You see what he's doing now on the show? That's what he did in school.
That was a serious question.
No,
My bad. He said I was serious.
no.
that's a sip moment, Sissy. I knew it was coming. So for those who out there that's listening in, Sissy, one may not know what an IEP is, right? So maybe they child I don't know, is ADHD, is that the same in the no, that's not. ADHD
It's
is
a separate diagnosis. So Keon also was diagnosed with ADHD. So both of those are on his IEP.
okay. So if you can, Sissy, tell us what is an IEP, because you know when we talked about it before, I never even heard of it. So can you kind of like break that down for us?
An IEP stands for Individualized Educational Plan. So whatever need your child needs, you would write an educational goal, and the teachers would have to work toward that goal with the child. So say, for example, the child needs extended time to complete an assignment.
Oh,
They have to give that child extended time to complete an assignment. Whatever, it depends what district you're in with extended time, because for us, extended time is the next class period. The next time they meet, that's when the assignment is due. However, depending on the severity of the child, it may be longer than that.
okay.
With an IEP also, they test separate from the general population. There's one-to-one testing where you test with that student by yourself, the teacher and the student, and then there's small group testing. And in that testing, it looks like maybe 15 kids. Then you may have some students that require additional breaks during testing. You may have some students that are diabetic and need to have additional break to take their medication. So it all depends upon the child's disability.
Right.
So that's what IEP stands for, individualized educational plan. And no child with a disability IEP should be the same, because their needs are different.
Wow. Well, with that being said, really quick, Deshaunna, before you jump in, Sissy, I don't know what you did. I don't know what you was doing, because Denzel opened up a can of worms, and here come my other nephew. He said, well, she tried it with me too.
Yes. Yes, I did. Because I like to do pop-ups and see, when you know your child, you know your child.
Right.
Fact.
Well, whose school did you go to all the time, huh?
Yours.
That's why I had to ask. Was I, did I have any type of autism?
No.
You can tell me, man. It's okay. We all family here.
No, you didn't have any autism.
Okay.
No.
My nephew. All right. So also Rashonda Wilson, she says always him. See,
Yes.
so that's what it is. I don't know. So we have another one. We said Kimberly Morgan. She says, absolutely. It is so easy for those kids to fall through the cracks, especially females with autism. So later on down the line, we're going to jump into the myths of autism. But going back to you, Deshaunna, because you were cut off, you were talking about Judah being nonverbal.
Oh, well, I was just gonna say something else about the IEP because this was our experience.
Okay.
When we were living in Florida, he had an IEP done, and when we moved to Washington, Florida couldn't find his IEP, and I didn't have my copy on me, and it took 9 months for Judah to get into school.
What?
So the IEP is like something you have to keep with you at all times. It's not just like, oh, my child got an IEP. Okay, well, we'll just go file this away. No,
No.
it's something you have to keep. It's vital to their education.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I had this binder in here. I was going to tell you, get you a binder.
Oh,
I have
yes.
every single IEP from every single year, because they're going to compare each year. They compare to last year to see what goals they have to increase, to see what goals they have to add. You know, they have his psychological plan, making sure that he's had his testing and things like that. So it changes. So they'll tell you, oh, we don't have a copy from last year. Oh, no worries, I do. So
Yeah,
we can what
that's
say,
what I through.
get you,
And I just kept calling and calling and was getting no response.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
We have a comment about the IEP. That IEP is very important, and some folks don't want us to know how important it is. My nephew is autistic, but my sister made sure he got everything he was due and some. He was not put in EBD classes, but he was in regular population and now has graduated. He was a part of the marching band. He graduated, went off and tried college, but he didn't like it. So now he's working and enjoying his life. Parents, please stay encouraged. Stand up for your children and encourage them and blessings. So one thing I can say about that is Tawana didn't tell you guys her son went for his first interview. And it's so amazing. Like the day I reached out to her about being on the show, that's where she was taking him later on the later part of that day. So what was that like for him, Tawana, or seeing, what was that like for you too as a parent, seeing your child go, apply for his first job?
The fact that they wouldn't let me go in the interview was beyond me. Like, I didn't understand that. But he kept, it was emotional because he was like telling me, he's like, Mom, sit, you stay right here. I'm finna go get the job and then I'll be back and then we can go to Wendy's. He's just all cool and calm about it. And I'm just like, okay, you want to rehearse? No, Ma, just sit down. Play, watch TikTok on your phone. And then he just turned around and he walked into Home Depot. The interview came about with this program called Ken's Crew. And Ken's Crew is an organization that we have, donated countless hours to, as far as they help during the transition period. So that transition from high school to whether it's high school to work, high school to college. So there's different organizations that help with that. And so their mission is to get them employed and get them to feeling just so that they can take care of themselves and feeling like they are just like everybody else. So there's not thousands, but there are a few organizations out there. And he's been in something like almost all of his life. I've always found something for the summer, something for the, during the break times when, he was home. I was always looking for something to make sure he stayed stimulated and to make sure that he was the same, so he would go places and it took me a while. He never did sleepovers because I didn't want to have to kill nobody. So that part was hard for me. So he never did sleepovers, but it was hard for me to let him go to school events and he would go to school events. I let him go his way and then, I'd be there, but I'd be on the other end. When he played football, I made sure I was either going to be the water boy, the equipment manager, or something, so I could get that little thing around my head and be on the field. But like Denzel said, I appreciated the kids. He was just a teammate. He wasn't treated any different. He was just a teammate. When he messed up, they went in at him, whatever. When he did something good, they celebrated him. So he's had his times when he's had, bullying and incidents like that. But overall, he's who he is, and everyone loves him for that.
Awesome. Denzel, I wish I could have some of whatever you eating over there. So
So
it's just the little Twizzlers.
Yeah.
The
No.
pulling pill.
And
Yeah.
In a big
I'll
bag.
pass.
also on the IEP, when they're in high school, they have a section on there for transitional goals, and I think that's what Tawana was referring to.
Mm, okay.
So it's how they're going to function after graduating. It's called post-secondary goals.
So back to what you were saying. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. He's smart. He just didn't think he wants to go to school. So, he doesn't think he wants to go like to a 4-year program. He actually got 3 scholarships. But he doesn't want to go to a 4-year program. So they have so many different things based on what it is that I like to do. He likes computers. So he'll be going to a cybersecurity program over at Kennesaw State for 20 weeks. And then they help him find employment from there. So they can be in society just like everybody else.
Tawana said 20 weeks. That does he get to come home though?
Yeah. He'll live. Yeah. Oh yeah. He's
Listen, I haven't got to that stage yet where I'm like, you could go somewhere and be gone for. No, I'm not.
Yeah. He'll be living at home, but it's a 20-week program. And it's better. For him, it was better than trying to commit to something for 4 years. So.
Right.
Oh, that's good.
Well, you heard what the young lady just said. She said her nephew actually went off to college and he tried it, but he returned home. So going back to you, Deshaunna, what you were saying, because I know, is it nonverbal and verbal? And then you have, what is it, Sissy? High functioning
and low functioning. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So going back to what you said, Deshaunna, about Judah being nonverbal.
So he's nonverbal. I'm sorry, Deshaunna.
Deshaunna.
He's nonverbal, but he has photographic memory. So he remembers everything. The one thing I will say is I think sometimes people forget because he's nonverbal, they'll think, oh, well, he doesn't know, but he's actually listening. So my telltale sign is because I know that about him and other people don't, when he is kind of like, get these people away from me, I'm like, what did he hear? I'm always wondering, because when he hears something, he acts out how he feels towards those people. Like if he knows that they're hurting his feelings or they've hurt my feelings, he will push those people away. And I'm like, oh, okay. And that's I'm like, God, thank you, because maybe I wasn't catching it and Judah acted it out so I could catch it.
Wow. Sissy, we just talked about that.
That's what I was telling you that.
We literally
They know.
Mm-hmm.
They know.
Oh my God. So let's go ahead. Deshaunna had the honor of telling me about this movie, y'all. And I tried watching it last night, but I did fall asleep. But we did clip some of it. And boy, this is a must watch, guys. This is definitely a must watch. It is called The Accountant with Ben Affleck. And I'm definitely going to go back in. I was telling my mother, we're going to watch it tonight. So we do have like a minute and 40 seconds. So let's look and see what they got going on here.
Your son is a remarkable young man. He has highly advanced cognitive skills. He has more in common with Einstein or Mozart than he does with us. I'd like to work with your son. Help him develop the skills he'll need to lead a full life.
It's not going to happen. The world is not a friendly place, and that's where he needs to learn to live.
Whoa. So, Ben, you just watched that. Tawana said she loved this movie. Did you get to see like how the young man was playing with the puzzle pieces and he couldn't find one piece? Tawana, tell us what I know. I think that's called stemming when they
Relations.
Okay. So if you could break that down for us.
That scene to me is my son with Legos. You can buy my son when he was like 6 or 7. We started out with like 200 pieces, 100 pieces, and he wouldn't even look at the book that came with the Legos. And he would he would put it together and it was done. Same thing with games. He would play through a level, and you buy a game on Saturday, by Tuesday, he didn't want it anymore. He was bored from it because he'd done it. He had played through it. But that's what him and like now it's like 3,000 pieces within a week it's put together. Because he just is anything with his hands that he can sit there and do with his hands, he does, and he does really, really well. He's one of those that doesn't like to be stimulated by sound. So you'll see it in the headphones, but it doesn't mean there's something coming out of the headphones. He just doesn't want to hear you. So that was something that had to be put in his IEP as well. That they allowed him to have the headphones so that he wouldn't be distracted by the stimulation of the other noise. But they get focused, like real focus on something. And when they're focused on it, they do it.
1 second. Deshaunna, we can hear you. Can you mute? Oh. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
They get really, really focused on something, and when they're focused, they're like honed in on that, and that's what makes him good with anything when it comes to his hands. Like you give him a Lego set and just walk away and just come back, and it's halfway done. So yeah, the puzzle to the kid in the movie is Legos to my son when it comes to him being stimulated. That's how he's stimulated, between the games and working with doing something with his hands.
Wow. So we have a question here. It says, how do you balance between giving your child the freedom to experience new things and being overprotective? Are there ways to help the parents stretch the boundaries?
Each case is different. Like when it came to football, I felt I was still being overprotected because there was no way that my child was going to be playing football. Like I didn't want him to be hit. I didn't want him to be, because my oldest son played football, throughout high school. My oldest son is regular, and he bad at it. But I didn't want him to go through what I went through on the Optimist field on Charles Drew Park with the parents and stuff like that. So that's how my mindset was. So, but I also knew from me going to therapy was that I had to let him do things that he wanted to do. So he did it. We enrolled, we paid, we got the uniform, and he was excited, and he was just like, like excited to go to practice. And I would come home and I say, how was practice? And he was like, fine. I'm like, what'd you do? Nothing. And he literally wasn't doing it. He was just sitting on the bench. He wasn't doing nothing, but he was excited. He was excited to go. He was excited about his teammates. So I'm like, okay, so the older me with my other son would be trying to get involved. Like, why you ain't let my son play? How we was on the park in Miami, but this one that was like kind of like sit back and let him enjoy it. And he enjoyed it. And eventually he did get out there. And the first time he got hit, I was over that doggone fence at Woodland High School so fast. And the coach was like, no. And he got up and he just started smiling. He ran to the sideline and he started smiling, and he enjoyed it. So you're still overprotective because you're still there and you're watching to make sure that he's good. But at the same time, if you don't allow that, then you'll get the feedback from the kids. Just like, I just want to do something. He wanted to do something normal, what we call normal. So you just have to, each case is different. So, some things he wanted to do, I just had to kind of explain to him, like, the world is cruel. And, some things, I just, wouldn't allow until a certain point. But you just have to, every case is going to be different, but you have to put them out there and allow them to do things just like you do things.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Denzel, you heard her say that she jumped the fence, and we know that all too well on this show.
So did.
We know.
Yeah. Sadly, I do.
He said sadly.
I'm not saying that in a bad way, man. I
know.
Keep asking, do I have autism? Because everything she's saying, I'm like, hold on now. She jumped the fence, you jumped the fence, You popped up at the school, you popped up.
That's a Dade County thing.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean,
Pretty much. He say, okay.
yeah.
Well, so Denzel, do you have a question for Tawana?
No, I ain't got no question. I was about to talk about. I should talk about sports. So I was about to bring up my little man.
Yeah.
He ain't into sports, but he like to play with the basketball. I mean, I'd rather him play baseball. 'Cause that's really where the money at. In the sport world. So, but yeah, I like when it come to him and sports, we're playing with him in general. I be trying to capture the moment because, in his earlier stages, he did not like me none whatsoever. He always wanted his mom, all that good stuff like that. So when I started being around him, I want to, capture the little moment. He would literally stop, like he wouldn't bounce the ball back to me. He'll stop, walk over to me and make me put my phone in my pocket and then walk back where he was at and like start playing again.
He wanted your undivided attention.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he was playing the wrong sport. Basketball. I mean, that's the only sports story I got. He like to play on his iPad. Other than that, but when he does like to play, he like to be chased around. He loves the trampoline.
See, everyone says hi.
Hi, Judah.
Hey, Juju.
Ju.
Look how he's looking.
I don't want no parts of that.
He wants his iPad.
So now, Deshaunna, you see what Denzel was just saying. He said that. His son wanted undivided attention. So Judah's saying, Deshaunna, mommy, come on over here. I want your attention. So would you say the iPad
was me to his room to say, listen, we're done with this now. Let's go. Yeah. I just live with him and take care of things, but he runs everything. Yeah. So, I did have a question for Tawana because I wanted to know, did you go through the stages? Okay, hold on a second. Did you go? Okay, 1 second, please. Did you go through the stages of your child only wanting to eat certain things?
Oh, yes.
Because okay, so for us, it's rice and steak.
Ours was macaroni and cheese, chicken nuggets, and green beans.
Yep.
And they can't touch.
Yeah.
So yeah, we went through that. He would only eat that for like the longest time, and then I learned it was more so of a texture. So while he was doing some of his occupational therapy, they worked through textures and feeling different things. Like for a long time, he did not like bananas. Now he loves bananas. So we went through that. I used a lot of dishes because he didn't want him to touch, but I would put it on his, this was before he got, more verbal, put the food on the plate and hand it to him and he push it down. And I'm like, okay, we're doing this again tonight. Let's pick the food up and then, fix him another plate and he push it down. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? So then one day I gave him the macaroni and cheese on one plate, gave him everything on 3 separate plates, and I handed it to him. And then he took all 3 plates and he pushed them close to him. And then he ate one meal first, the macaroni and cheese first. Then you don't eat them like together. Still to this day, he doesn't do that. He'll eat one item, finish it, chicken nuggets, finish it, beans, finish it. And still to this day, he does that. He doesn't mix food together. They got to be separate. So yeah, you went through those phases, but for Keon, he grew out of it with the more and more therapy and the more and more textures he starts to introduce some different textures. The more and more he ate more foods. So it was kind of like a trial and error type thing. Like one day I just decided to put some applesauce in front of him, and he put his fingers in it, and and he was just like, and then eventually he tasted it, and then he was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I like that. So you're gonna have to do a trial and error, and individually introduce different things to him until he understands the texture and until he understands the taste. And and dinner takes a while. Dinner takes a while. hour, 2 hours.
Yeah. Like right now, it's only steak and rice. That's it. Occasionally, he'll eat a chocolate chip cookie here and there and barbecue chips.
Yep.
Anything else is like no. And I make really good things. Like I cook.
Not to him.
Yeah.
Not to him.
And I'm like,
I
my
went
friends they get
first.
excited because they're like, "Wait, Judah didn't eat that," and I'm like, "No, he didn't." Oh, I'm coming over for the leftovers. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
just
hearing Tawana said earlier, she said how her son would do something with the therapist that he would not do with her. Do you ever have those moments, Deshaunna?
All the time. He goes to school and he potties by himself.
Yeah.
And he will not do it. And I'm just like, this is insane.
Yep.
And it's hard because I'm like, I'm asking people like, okay, do you guys experience this? And like, I have like certain friends that have kids with autism. I don't have a many because I know what their schedule's like and I know what my schedule's like. And to have a bunch of people, like I tried the support group thing, that was overwhelming for me. I felt like I was on sensory overload.
Yes.
Because I'm thinking I'm going to talk about my problems and they want to talk about their problems. And I'm like, wait a minute, we can't all be talking right now because this is a little too much.
They making you depressed. You already depressed.
Yes.
But that's why y'all come together. That's why y'all come together.
Yeah, but for me, it was more so like I'm coming to you for advice on what to do with certain. Then they would tell me, "Oh, girl, don't get used to it. He ain't never gonna do this." And I was like, "Wait a minute, like,
where's your hope?
Right? Where's my hope?"
Like, okay, this is not the group I need to be a part of. Like,
no, maybe it is, Deshaunna, because guess why? The thing is, watch this. Remember how the doctors told both of you that your kid wouldn't make it? See, so that's why he placed you guys there. You're a light for a lot of those people that's there.
Okay, where's my light? I need a little light too.
I'm really
no, seriously. The thing is, just maybe if you could kind of like bear with it for a little while, who knows? Like, look, Tawana came along and she has tons of information that she can share. What if she was inside that group? You see what I'm saying? If she was inside that group, then you would have missed out because then she can't.
You're right. But you know what, Auntie, I'm gonna tell you like this. My tolerance is I'm working. God's working on me.
There's a group
My
out there.
tolerance is not there for everybody.
Right. For me, it was the I think it's called the Black.
Look, see what she said.
Sorry,
Society. You see what she said? You may need to be there.
Amen. That's all I'm trying to say. It might be bad. It might be bad. Don't rain forever.
Right.
It rain for hours, but it ain't gonna rain forever.
9 years in, and I'm like, Lord, okay, come on. Can I get a little break in here? A little break.
Yeah, hey. Might not be there when you want him, but he'll be there right on time. You better listen to the song.
Come on, Pastor Perryman.
Okay, Deacon.
That's information.
He's telling the truth. That's the good stuff. That is good because what happens, like I said, if you missed out on a Tawana that could share some information, and maybe God says patience this year, and I'm patience.
Oh, if you don't have patience, honey.
Yes.
How many times have I told you that?
Yeah, you got to. That's gonna be your biggest thing. Yeah. Patience and take some time for yourself. Like I said, my village, because sometimes my mom would just be like, "Go, just go." And I would leave the house, sometimes not even to go nowhere. I would just get in the car, drive somewhere, find a parking lot and sleep. But your village and your patience and that time for yourself is going to make a whole lot of difference. But it's going to come. The group I end up finding is called the, unfortunately, I had to find people like me. And it was, I think it's called the Black Autism Support Society. And I've been a member of them for years, and I have some information for you. We'll exchange contacts. But it's light at the end of the tunnel. It's there. You just have to have that.
This tunnel, I feel like I'm at the beginning, and all I see is this big black hole, and I'm going,
It's not
Okay.
black and white. You just gotta go around the black part. It's
Oh, thank you.
Come
Thank
on.
you.
right, 'cause
Don't,
baby,
hey, D, you can't come on here with that negativity, girl.
I'm not
We all
being
positive.
negative. I'm being
You
honest.
talking about seeing the black light and all this other stuff.
Right.
No, we see the white light, the bright light.
Okay,
Go around that
okay,
little
the
black
white
hole.
light. But wait, I thought the white light wasn't good to see either.
Well,
On this
listen,
side it is.
if
Well,
you in
on
the
this
black
side
tunnel,
it is.
Okay,
if
okay.
you in a black tunnel, if you see the white light, you might be, you know
Going
what I'm saying,
toward light.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
you might be
Okay.
getting out of there.
Okay.
Natasha says sometimes God will put you in. Sometimes God will put us in uncomfortable places, and all He wants is for us to trust Him. Stay encouraged. That is so true, and it's in the
Thank you,
uncomfortable places
Natasha.
where God doing some of His best work, y'all. It
Yeah.
don't feel as comfortable, but hey, He's doing some great work in that uncomfortable place. Darlene says, my cousin is a former rocket player who is the founder and CEO of the Ninth Wonder Foundation that deals with kids with autism playing basketball.
Wow.
Mm.
That is awesome, Darlene. So, do you ever think if Judah was to say to you, Deshaunna, well, Mom, I may want to go play basketball. I know you were speaking to me about him liking golf, but what happens if he want now? See, golf is not a contact sport. I'm not going to even take him over to football because that's just way too much. We know that is too much. But if he said, I want to go play basketball, Mom, how would you feel about that?
I would be so excited. And the reason why I would be excited is because my oldest son did basketball. He did AAU, the traveling team. I enjoyed that. Now, I wasn't always present because I was working, but that was like a community of different families. When I couldn't make it, they were there. And so if Judah decided to do that, I would be okay with it. I'm not going to lie. If he decided football, I would be very scared. Yeah, terrified. And that's only because when I think of the contact sport and all that we went through and he's still fragile, it's just like, oh my gosh, the injuries. I want his bones to be okay. And I think about the internal.
Okay.
And like even now he's older, he's taller, but I still can remember it like it was yesterday. Him being born. And when Tawana was talking about like seeing the child and it's like clear, it's like you could see through. That's like it's so real that I remember the doctor saying, hold him. And I was like, no, that's not a baby. I'm not touching. And it took like a month for me to be able to touch. And they were like, with skin to skin. No, I'm not putting that on me. And for the longest, I was saying that because that was my real life testimony. I could not imagine that being a baby because it didn't look like a baby to me.
Right. Wow.
So, yeah. So for me, when it comes to sports with him, I'm okay with golf. I don't understand it, but I'm trying. He loves swimming. If he did swimming, I would be okay with it. I think football's the only one that's a little terrifying to me because of what I went through. And I'm still working my way through it.
Right. So here, Tawana said that she was afraid as well, but that was something that he wanted to do. Do you think that you could kind of let go just a little bit if he really wanted to do it?
I would do it just for the sake for him. But I'd probably be on the sidelines praying, speaking in tongues and all kinds of stuff because I'd be like, Lord, listen.
Yeah.
This is
I wasn't.
Yeah.
She was jumping fences too. She was jumping fences. We have a question. As a parent, how do you set boundaries with your children to keep yourself balanced? Is there a difference in how you approach it for your children with autism or without?
I think there's a difference because there's certain things with Judah that I do that I would not do with my older son. And like you deciding what we're going to eat and how we're going to eat it. No, you're going to eat what I made. And now it's that's not the option because my child, he will go without eating. He will not eat if he doesn't like a thing.
Yeah.
So
Like
that's what we're
his
talking
will
about.
is stronger than my patience.
Yeah.
And
that
kids with
just I'm sorry, just
Oh,
kind
no,
of
no.
deviate from the question a little bit. That too is something that I had to learn, that a part of me did not want to be too stern because I was scared to be too stern. But the reason why he was doing stuff at therapy that he wasn't doing at home is because of my patience. I was like, forget this. What that's how you want to talk? Fine. Then point to it. But then I had to get to the point where if they're saying that he could talk and he could do these things if I worked with him, then I got to work with him. So I had to gain more patience. I don't know where I got it from, but I had to find more patience, and I had to be a little bit more stern to let him know that this is what we're doing. And if juice is what you want, then juice is what you will say, or you won't get juice. And it was hard at first. But when I started doing it, like I would literally walk away from him having tantrums in the kitchen and be on the other side of the wall crying. And then all of a sudden you hear him say, juice, juice. And I was like, yeah. But it was like finding that patience. And then also I had to be a little bit stern because like I said, I'm going back to this therapist saying, literally, he would walk in the door and say her name. Oh, and I'm like, oh, you talk. So and then we get in the car and he just, the whole ride home. And I'm like, I'm talking to you and you're not saying anything to me. So I had to be a little, because all he knew was, oh, mommy gonna give me whatever I want. Grandma gonna give me whatever I want. So we had to be stern and we had to find a little bit more patience in order to make him do what I needed him to do at that house. And then we were mimicking what we were doing in therapy, we were doing it at home too. Because I had to make sure that in order for him to get to where I needed him to be, I had to work with him at home too. That one little hour at therapy was not going to make a difference for him. It was, I strongly believe it was what we did at home too.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to go back to the question. Yeah, it is a little different. How I treated my other son was definitely a little different. Because, he had, special needs. He had, other things that I had to pay attention to. So yeah, you definitely going to treat them a little different. But at the same time, you don't want them to think that they're different. We don't go to birthday parties. It's like, oh, y'all let my son go first. He autistic. I wanted him to go out there and just go chill. And, you watched him, but you let them, you still let him be a normal kid. Yeah. And people utilize that word normal, like they're normal.
Right.
Just a little different.
And that's the thing too, like with Ben Affleck. Well, I know he's an actor, but the thing about it is, if you were to see him, you would not know that this was as a little kid, right? So, and I saw another young lady, she was a rapper, and she was saying how she have autism, but that's not who she is, basically. And I wish that I could have put that on, but I couldn't clip it. But the thing is, just to know that, like, I love that we're all normal, period. And sometimes we always say too, we don't walk around like, well, we don't walk around looking like what we've been through, right? But these kids, going back to Tawana, I love that you said, as Black folks, we don't like titles being put on us. Now you're finding it where so many people is coming out with this, not just autism, ADHD. My cousin, his son has Asperger's. Being so open with it now and embracing it. So when Sissy sent the topic, I was like, yes, awareness and acceptance. Because we do know that the world is kind of cruel, especially kids. Kids gonna say whatever it is on their mind, right? Yeah. If your kids are out there playing at a playground and other kids are around, they may branch off from your kid. How does that make you feel, Deshaunna, when you see that?
That hasn't been my experience, only because Judah is kind of standoffish.
Okay.
So he veers away from kids. He would rather go to the playground and play by himself than play with other kids.
Right.
Okay.
So it's a little different. Like we went to the park one time and the kids wanted him to come play. And so there was one little boy, he was like determined. He was gonna have Judah play with him.
Good.
And Judah was looking at me like, come rescue me. I didn't do it only because I want him to try to have that interaction. But if it's up to him, he's fine just being by himself.
Because as part of their characteristics, social skills,
Yeah.
communication, and eye contact is a big deal for them.
And touching.
So they isolate themselves. And so even when you go to like embrace them or give them a hug, they'll push you away.
Yeah. And that was another told me like, oh, your son is autistic and autistic kids don't like to be touched. But I have a whole cuddler over here and he wants to cuddle, kiss, and some of the things like they say that autistic kids won't do and they don't like to do, he does.
But they do it over time.
Yes.
It's over time.
Okay.
Right. I can't really say autistic kids because, when people say that, it's like they are all individual people. Keon definitely like the touch. Like you went in for a hug and he did the Matrix on you so fast and people would get offended. So that's really was the only time when I had to really be like, he's autistic. He really doesn't like the stimulation, doesn't like to be touched. And then they would say, well, have him take the earphones off. No, he don't want to hear you.
Yeah.
You had to go through all those different things. So they all have their different characteristics and they all have their different things about them that they like or they don't like. So they're all individuals. That's why you'll never see one IEP be exactly the same because each individual child something totally different. Me working that headphones into his IEP, me working the additional time into his IEP, me working the separate classroom sometimes into his IEP. So everybody's a little different. Now his IEP is much smaller. Some of the things he doesn't need anymore because he grew out of certain things or he learned to stimulate a little bit more. So it's all a process, and the process is going to be totally different for every single child. It's not my process, is not going to be your process. My process is not going to be Mr. Perriman's process for his child. So everybody's process is going to be totally different, and you have to treat them like as such. You have to treat them individually.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, we have breaking news, guys. Breaking news. Listen, Mothers of Motivated Sons will be hosting our very first event in Miramar, Florida. We have a mental health therapist, we have a NIL consultant, we have a surgeon, we have a pro cheerleader. We also have the NFL moms and sons. This is an event that you do not want to miss. And shout outs to Body Armor for keeping us hydrated. Miramar area, we definitely want you guys to come out and support our guys. It's nothing like a cane sting, baby. Not only that, let me tell you something. If you're in need of some amazing custom-made sneakers, another breaking news for you coming here. All right. So Tawana, I'm gonna put this out here for you. I think that you should get you a pair of those shoes, and you can get them from my sissy at 10K Creations. Come on, sissy, tell us all about those hot sneakers.
Okay, so because I'm an educator and April is Autism Awareness Month, and I also have a grandson and a nephew with autism, I decided to create some dunks and paint the autism awareness puzzle on them, and then I personalized them and put their names on each shoe. So In addition to doing the sneakers, which was my first time ever doing that, I also bling Crocs. So just look me up.
All right, all right. What the hubby said, my bro said. He said them things fire. See, that's a Miami thing, y'all. That's a yeah. But I'm telling you, you will definitely get they're made with love. They're definitely made with love. So if you want Crocs or custom made dunks, please do get at my sissy. Don't stop with the dunks though. That's just what she did, but that's not what she do. She can hook you up. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump back to Deshaunna. Deshaunna, what is one of the myths that you heard that you want to shed some light on?
The myths.
Only one, D.
I know, right? I'm glad. Big myths. I will. Well, okay. One you said. We'll just say this one. Not all autistic kids are the same. I'll just and it's not a myth. It's just factual.
Tawana, what would you say?
Oh, I say for me that Black people don't have autism.
Yeah.
Let my grandma tell it.
Yeah.
We don't have all that.
Okay. What would be for you, sissy? You're on mute.
Oh, okay. One myth I would say would be,
No, don't know.
No, I have one.
Okay.
That all children with autism learn the same.
What would you say, nephew? Have you heard a myth out there?
No.
All right. Well, I have
Just
some.
ain't nothing really wrong with them. They just smart in their own ways.
Yeah. Well, I did do some little research, so we're going to go over this slide really quick, and you all going to give your words of encouragement before we shut down. Let's go ahead and look at some of the myths. All right. It says here. Oh, I started way in the. Hold on. Why I did that? Come on. All right. Let's go back to the first one. I'm not going to go over. I had to show this little cute slideshow because y'all, I spend hours doing this thing. So, all right, I had to definitely show it. So it says here, one of the myths is, that's telling you what autism is. So one of the first myths I found was girls don't usually get autism. Have y'all heard that?
No.
They get it, but it's more common in boys than girls.
See,
that might be a myth. That might be a myth.
No, that's true. That's a fact.
I'm just throwing it out there.
I know.
It says here, girls are less likely to be diagnosed with autism, but it's still common, says Catherine Lord, PhD, a clinical psychologist focused on autism at the David Giffen School of Medicine at UCLA. Boys are 4 times more likely to be diagnosed with ASD compared with girls. While it's also true that girls are more likely to be misdiagnosed than they do have ASD, boys are still more likely to be born with it. Okay, so that was myth 1. Next myth, you can only be diagnosed as a child. This is Tawana's baby here. So you can only be diagnosed as a child. What do you ladies think and gentlemen think?
No, that's a myth.
That's a myth.
Okay. Nephew?
Yeah, I'm literally about to go get tested probably tomorrow because I think my mama lying to me. So you gotta come clean. Dad, you can just write in the chat, just yes or no. It's
It
okay.
says here, no, in fact, more and more people are being diagnosed with autism in adulthood as our understanding of the condition improves. That's because, unlike a condition such as high blood pressure, Lord says, there's no biological marker used to diagnose ASD. As a result, many people are misdiagnosed as children with conditions like ADHD and anxiety because doctors don't realize that they have the ASD and the causes. So your dad said to cover my sissy, my bro said, son, you're fine. Okay, let's go over to number 3. Let's see what it said. Everyone's experience with ASD is similar. You guys pretty much answered that already. Yeah, we already answered that one. The next one is most people with ASD have severe intellectual disabilities. Is that true?
I think true.
You think true?
It says most, not all. So yeah.
Okay, you caught that. Well, it says here, no, in the U.S., most people living with ASD do not have severe intellectual disabilities and are able to function relatively normally within society, Lord says. It's also a myth that most people on the autism spectrum have a striking skill like a photographic memory or a prodigal music skill. It happens, but it's quite rare, Lord says.
Right.
Wow. The last one. Something in the environment is causing more kids to get autism. What do y'all think?
I think it's in the food.
I kind of agree with that. I think I agree. It's something. Now I can't point what it is, but I kind of agree with that.
Ooh. Says here, autism is more commonly diagnosed than it once was. According to the CDC, 1 in 44 children in the U.S. have ASD, up from 1 in 88 a decade ago. But the decrease isn't likely environmental. Most of the evidence point to a couple of factors, Lloyd says. First, the way we characterize children with autism has changed, and the disability now includes a host of conditions, including autism disorder, pervasive developmental disorder, and Asperger's syndrome. This last one, y'all, I know y'all could talk up on this one because this one here is just a big myth. Autism is caused by poor parenting or refrigerated mothers. I'm going to take this off and I'm going to bring you ladies on. And just turn on. Now, how could be so? Somebody could say anything like that.
I don't know, but we all know that's a myth.
Yeah,
that's a big myth.
That's almost like fighting words right there.
Exactly, because the thing is now, this is where it comes from. Because I told y'all I did my little research, but I could not believe that was one of the things that they said. Poor parenting. Because how is it that come from poor parenting?
It doesn't.
At all. So that is what I would say that's our biggest myth. Out of all the ones that you heard, ladies, which one would you say?
Oh, that last one.
Absolutely. So now we're going to go ahead. We're going to jump into these comments. Rose say, no, son, you're fine. Natasha says, there are a lot of adults that went undiagnosed. How is that so? Like what? Okay, if they went undiagnosed, what did they display to make one say, okay, yes, this is what they have in their adulthood?
I think.
Oh, go ahead.
I think that
Auntie.
Because many people didn't want to talk about it in the past, and they just like Tawana said, her grandmother said, "Oh, ain't nothing wrong with that child. He fine." So that's probably what they went off of back then. And then as it started becoming more aware and coming out more, maybe they started seeing some of the characteristics within themselves.
Yeah, I agree. We had I had cousins, and one in particular, and they just would be like, "Oh, she just looks slow. She just looks slow." And just thinking back, and it's some of the things that she used to do. I probably would say that if given the opportunity to go and get diagnosed, there was probably something there. So it wasn't in our community. You just don't put that label on them kids. You know, it's like, you know, when you tell a grandmother, "Oh, he bad, he ain't bad, he just curious." No, he bad. You know, so they, you know, it just wasn't there. So I definitely agree. There's some that have never been diagnosed and just walking around. Not you, Denzel, walking around. You know, just doing the best they can because they have not been diagnosed, and that's more of a cultural thing for us, unfortunately, that we don't want to put those labels on our kids. And for me, it's not a label. I just needed to know what was wrong so we can fix it or figure out where do we go from here. But we don't walk around and be like, "Oh, you know, my child got autism." You know, he just walks around day to day, because we know. Because had we not known, we would have never known what to do or how to make it better.
Right. And Denzel, he's a big kid. He's big. He is big.
I seen him in the picture. That was him in the picture, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him.
Yeah.
But he played tight end, D end.
He played line, and he was good at it.
Okay, left tackle, right tackle.
Because it was something about tackling people that he just loved.
Yeah, deep D end. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He's definitely a big boy. So, Deshaunna, what is with the earphones? If we can, just let's touch on that really quick. What's with the earphones? Why is it that they love to wear the earphones?
Well, I can't speak for nobody else's child, but for my child, the reason why he loves it is, sound for him, it intensifies, and okay, hold on. It might cause him to have like internal issues where he is like how he's screaming right now. He doesn't have earphones on, but he hears me talking. He hears his Nintendo DS going, and he has his iPad going. So he's got too many sounds going at one time, and he's trying to focus on one. So when he has his earphones on, it actually like calms everything else down. Just like he hears things we don't hear. Like there's commercials that actually have other sounds going on that he can hear.
Wow.
So, and I only learned that from him going to occupational therapy, finding that out because I didn't know. And I just knew he was walking around going like this with his ears. And we've gone through so many different types of headphones because not every headphone is created equally.
Okay. So that's what I was going to ask that too. Like, is there a certain kind of headphone that you found that worked best for you?
For us, it was the Beats. The Beats work the best. Those are hands down the best. And they're cordless. So hands down.
At least get headphones. Styles cuts his volume all the way up.
Yeah.
Like the only one just sitting there. Like if like I'm watching TV right now, I would literally hear Toy Story or Ice Age, whatever he, watching, because he just wants to hear it. But if you ask him to turn it down, like he'll turn it down like for a little bit, and then after a while, when you ain't paying no attention, he'll look back at you and come right back up again.
Yes.
So is it like loud sound? You think Styles like? Because you say he has it at the max, basically.
Oh, I know it is. But like it's not at blast all the time. Like if you go over there, ask him to turn it down, or if you just turn it down like yourself, as long as he can hear it and like the TV ain't interfering with like him listen to his iPad, like he's fine.
Okay. And you said, Tawana, your son basically wore his, but it wasn't nothing coming out of it sometimes. Right?
Yeah, in his younger age, it was just tuning the stimulating out. It was too overstimulating for him, either all the talking or the noise. And like she said, he would hear noise, and I'm like, "There's nothing. What's the problem? There's nothing." But they hear things. They hear noises that we may not hear. So for him, it was just once I discovered it, I put him on his ear, and it was just so calming for him. He would literally sit there and play toys or do whatever without the noise, or even without the rocking, or without the shaking. And then once I took him off, it was just like like too much for him. It was like, wait, trying to do this, hear this, and it wasn't for him. Now it's, it does have sound coming out of him. But again, it's more so, if we go somewhere, if I'm like, just come with me, come to the office with me or whatever, he'll just have him on because he just don't want nobody to talk to him.
Talk to him. Nephew says, what the H is a refrigerator mom? What is a refrigerator mom?
That was on one of the myths.
Oh,
yeah, I was trying to figure that out too. It's just like somebody who just feed the kid all the time, really don't.
Did it say? Did I have anything on there? Let's see. Refrigerator. Okay. It says in the 1950s, there was an assumption that autism was caused by emotionally distant or cold parents. Though the exact cause of autism has not been determined, it is now firmly established that the development of autism has nothing to do with parenting style. Myth. Autism is caused solely by environmental. I don't think they said, y'all. I don't think they said what a refrigerator.
Well, they said the cold parents. Maybe that's where the refrigerator part come from.
Okay.
In the 1950s, maybe that was a term back then. Oh, you refrigerator, you cold.
Okay.
Refrigerator now, they probably gonna think you're trying to call them. I'm saying big. Then it's gonna be a problem.
Oh.
Yeah, that's fine in the 1950s.
Well, it was back then. So Shannon Jaguar Diva, she said, I would like to bless 2 ladies to attend this awesome event. She always pouring into everything we have going on. So thank you so very much.
You.
If you're in the Miramar area, Shannon Jaguar Stevens says she wants to bless 2 ladies to attend the event on Mother's Day. Listen, it's the event that you guys do not want to miss. Tailgate and tea time. Mm-hmm.
What she mean by blessing?
She wants to pay for 2 ladies to go.
What about me?
It's not Father's Day.
Early birthday gift or something.
His birthday way in December, y'all, with me.
Okay. Like, wait, what?
Shannon, the request, say it again, nephew, for us. Say it loud for the people in the back.
Yeah, I just want to get paid for one time. So can you kindly pay for my attendance fee, please? Or can't we go half, 50-50, a 60-40? Just write down in the comments however you want this to go down. I'm asking nicely.
He says 60-40. Oh,
remember, I got suspended last season for a couple games. Second game of the season, I got hit with a $66,000 fine. So, yeah, let's we can talk about this.
Also, too, Tawana has a logistics business, Denzel. So I know that when you're transitioning, you may need what? You need a car to where you're going.
I do.
All right. That's one of the things, when you're making a transition from one team to another. So there you go.
Why everybody think I'm being funny? I'm like dead serious. I seen the comment.
Shannon, he's not playing.
I'm really not.
He's not. He's serious. He's very serious.
Oh my Lord.
We might have to connection.
I tell you what, nephew, I'll pay for you.
Thank you.
I'll still pay for you. I got you.
Oh my God.
What, Mom?
Nothing.
I already do it. I saw it to your face.
I'm just gonna sip on my Yeti.
So this topic, understanding autism, awareness and acceptance. Listen, this has been truly amazing. Sissy had a couple of actors, even a couple of ball players that we have looked up. Come on, Sissy, tell us all about the ones that we looked up that has autism.
I left my paper at the job.
I know one was Tommy Hilfiger, right?
Tommy Hilfiger.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
Yes. Football player Joe Barksdale.
Mm-hmm.
Another NBA player. I think his last name was Nail. And actually, the NBA player has 2 sons. with autism.
Wow.
Dan Marino.
Dan Marino has a son with autism. Another actor, is it Halle Berry?
Yep.
Halle Berry.
Son. And her son actually was not talking, wasn't verbal at 1st.
Mhm.
And then years later, yeah. And guess what's the biggest one, Sissy, that you forgot?
Oh, the biggest one I forgot is the CEO of Tesla.
Elon Musk.
Yes, he has autism.
I thought you was about to drop the bomb, man. I was like the biggest one.
He was on that instant like you was going to say his name.
Yeah. No.
I thought you was about to drop the bomb, man. I was like, oh, it is.
Oh my God, I need to just laugh. Y'all just don't know. Well, nephew, she said let him have one of the tickets.
It's for the two women. I'm just trying to see if she want to go half on me with one of the tickets. That's it. You go half on me on the tickets, I go half with you on the drinks. I take care of the drinks.
There you go. There it is.
Like a date.
So listen, is there anything, right? Is there anything that you want to leave? Maybe it's a parent on here, maybe it's an aunt, uncle, grandmother, whatever it may be. Is there anything that you want to leave with them on tonight concerning maybe the awareness or the acceptance of autism? Starting with you, Tawana.
Patience, prayer, and patience. It'll all work out. You just have to be their voice, have patience, and y'all gonna work this thing out together.
Deshaunna?
I will say get you a good therapist because this journey is going to bring out more than you ever could imagine. You're going to deal with your own childhood trauma when you're dealing with your child's trauma because it's going to open things that you forgot about, you didn't remember, and things you didn't think you were going to ever experience.
Okay. Denzel?
Yes.
Well, I do want to tell my mama thank you for bringing me to, take a child at work day when you work with autism kids because, I end up having a child with autism. And honestly, I didn't panic. I didn't freak out because, I seen my mom, deal with them and, work with them. And like I said, them were, some of, my good friends, I used to go, to her school. So, like Mr. Tawana said, you got to have patience. Like Dee said, if you need to go talk to somebody, go talk to somebody. Don't hold it in. But I can say they're a blessing. They are special. I'd say that they the 1% in the world, the people that, are very smart. I seen you play the accountant, that's one of my favorite movies, and I ain't gonna lie to you. When I found out Styles had autism, I was like, well, he gonna be just like him. He gonna be just like him. He's gonna be an assassin. He gonna be a killer. He can have the one spoon, one fork, all that good stuff. But I know, he's those 1%ers in the world. But like Mr. Warner said, just have patience, and just pray. Just pray. I mean, I know it's hard. I know it's tough. I mean, everybody deal with different stuff, and it's just different. Just be blessed. Just be blessed. Like I said, you got a very smart child. Autism is not a thing to me. That's just another word for extra smart, to be honest.
Oh, wow. Love it, nephew. Love, love, love it. See, that's why we never know where God will place us. See, you had already set the foundation, Sissy, when you was take my child to work day. Never even knew later on down the line that you guys would be faced with this. So that's why, sometimes when God places us in certain situations, let's ride that thing going out just to see what will be the outcome, because there's definitely something in everything that we go through. So look, now he said they end up being some of his best friends, Sissy. So, wow. Go ahead, sis.
What I would say, regardless if your child is verbal or nonverbal, be their voice, always be there for them, because they're always unique, totally interesting, and sometimes mysterious.
Love it. Oh my God, like all of this information was, I mean, so good on tonight. If this broadcast has truly blessed you, please do share it with anyone that maybe have a child that have autism or know someone that have autism. A lot of information was shared here on tonight. Let's see what the audience has said really quick. God created them just the way He wanted them to be. Absolutely, absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for sharing your stories on tonight. It was very, very informative, very, very good to know that and connections was made. Connections was made. So, Deshaunna, uh, listen, Tawana's here in Atlanta with me. Her hands in a lot of things, but if she say that she's going to do something, she's definitely going to do it. That's one of the things I can say about her. So definitely, I will put you two in contact with each other. And that nephew, if you would like her information, where you can see what she have, all the resources she have going on. And mom is the number one where you need to go. But at the end of the day, look how connections are made. You never ever know. So thank you all for tuning in here with us on tonight. The viewers, you guys rock. Let me tell you something, but y'all better not leave this broadcast without going over to 10K Creations and get y'all some dunks or some crop made. Now, this is the disclaimer. Well, not the disclaimer. I'm just going to tell you this. Just bear with her. She makes all of these items handmade. I washed her, okay? Handmade. So if you need some Crocs or even some dunks, I don't care what is coming up. Maybe you want your face painted on. I don't know. Whatever the next month is, whatever it is, she'll get you right. She will definitely get you right. But definitely have patience with her because she's gonna make sure. One thing about my sissy, y'all, she's gonna make sure y'all everything. Listen, one of my things fell off. She say, "Send it back, sissy. Just send that one shoe back." And I sent it back, and she made sure it was tidied up. Listen, do not leave here without Tawana for your autism sneakers. All right, guys. So listen, we do have this event that's coming up on Mother's Day. Guys, get your tickets. Look at our handsome sons. They are so handsome, right? Oh my God. On May 12th, which is Mother's Day, it is at Sunset Lakes Community Center in Miramar, Florida. The cost is $20. And guess what it's going to get you? You're going to leave there with a free gift bag. You're going to leave there with a lot of information. You're going to leave there even, what else they got, sissy? We don't want to tell you everything, but we have some amazing things in the works for you guys. It will be a live show. Come on, y'all. Come on and support Mothers of Motivated Moms. We're looking for you all. Not only that, tomorrow on Wednesday, I will have the beautiful Olivia. She says, "Closer to my dream." She is only a 9-year-old artist. Oh my God. And doing such amazing things. She's all over Tubi as well. So Olivia will be with us on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Then tomorrow I have my prayer broadcast with the Kelly Davis and Dr. B, which will be at our event as well. Dr. B is the surgeon. Kelly is the ex-pro cheerleader. She cheered for the Panthers, Denzel. And she will have NIL. Go ahead.
You remember I just interned for the Panthers, Auntie. I wasn't there too long.
I don't like them no more, then.
No ill will. I'm just saying. Remember, we interned there. We was there for like 2-3 months.
Okay. All right. But you made some money, right?
Oh, I did.
All right, there we go. All right. So they will be in the building on Mother's Day. Listen, come out and support us. We definitely would love to see you guys in the building. Also, again, tomorrow, Girls Talk Tuesday with Dr. B. Can't go wrong. Every round go higher and higher on that prayer broadcast. And again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so, so very much for sharing your stories. And Sissy, oh my God, I love you. I love you, my sister, y'all. I love you. She know what I'm talking about. But anywho, just to see her come on here and I'm talking about show my sissy. Let me show y'all this picture. I don't even know, sissy. Do I still have it?
I don't know.
Hold on, I have to show y'all this because my sissy don't like smiling. And this was one of the most. I couldn't stop looking at it. And I don't care what y'all saying, but this my sissy. I love my sissy. But hold on, watch this. Sissy, where is that? Which phone did you send it to? I have to show this picture. Which phone did you send it to, sissy? You're on mute.
Man, you gotta work on talking on mute.
This picture is beautiful. fall. I'm gonna get there, y'all. Check my sissy out, y'all.
Oh wait, she put the camera up.
I had to. It's not on my thing. It's not on here. But this picture is amazing, guys. Again, go over to 10K Creations and get your sneakers. Also, your Crocs. Also, meet us in Miramar Mother's Day. Okay. God bless each and every one of y'all. Come on, listen. You're not gonna be the only one to get hearts tonight, nephew. Come on, some virtual hugs. Oh my gosh, hugs. Oh, look at her. She want to try to show out with her heart. Okay. All right. So virtual hugs. Come on, let's show her up. Let's do our hugs. Sissy. Sissy.
I'm the only one. Sorry.
Why you going so pretty? Nephew. Oh, nephew got how you did that? Oh well, God bless each and every one of you. I got 2 phones. Bro, I mean nephew. All right. All right. We love you here at Mothers of Motivated Sons. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.